name calling one another, stop cursing one another, stop gossiping about one another, stop squabbling with one another, stop being discourteous and disrespectful to one another, stop fighting one another, stop killing one another, stop using and selling drugs to one another, stop throwing down trash where black people have to live, work, and play. Did I say stop stealing, stop robbing? Now, as I said, the pressure of the white supremacy dynamic that forces black people to think negatively about themselves and set up negative environmental conditions will produce these negative behaviors. You see, but that's just like somebody putting you in check from the other side of the board. So you have to learn the tactics and strategies, the behavioral tactics and strategies, do you see, that will stop that from happening. So you're constantly on the offensive and the defense about preserving or evolving and developing a very positive image and concept.
Thank you for tapping in. This is Brian HRap B. Williams. This is the End of the Bench Media. Thank you. Just to say. So I have an interruption. That's what happens when you do things live. Thank you for tapping in. Hit that like, hit that share, tell a friend to tap in. This is the End of the Bench Media. A few minutes with HRap. As I do every day, I thank my parents, Dolores and John. Without Dolores and John, there's no me. Without me, you'll be doing something else with your valuable time. If you're not watching this live, go to www.theendofthebench.com. Please go to www.theendofthebench.com and watch it there. You'll see a Black History video. I'll show you a piece of that montage from Country Boy at One Mic History here on YouTube. It is very beneficial. You'll see a piece of it. Hopefully, it'll intrigue you to watch it. Go to the website. You guys have been checking in. Thank you very much. With that being said, those things being happening, I want to welcome everyone. Hello and thank you. And we're going to get right to it. Explore unity is the key. You see that back there? That is the attempt to explore unity. You see all hues, all skin complexions, and they're all us. They're all us. You can't get around it. You can't tiptoe through the tulips, so to speak. We are one. As Frankie Beverly once said, we are one. And the reason I want you to see that, I want us to explore unity. We consistently repeat the tropes of oppression. We are this, and we'll never do this, and we'll never do that, and we this, and it's always a negative situation. But how many conversations have you sat around and had with people ignoring mainstream media point of view that they project to you, ignoring the poor experiences you've had, and only highlight the rich experiences that you've had in regards to the community? How many of you have done that? See, we have allowed other people to give us our identity. Like you heard, from what I understand, Ricky Smiley and somebody were having this conversation, Black people versus the N-word, which is asinine. But we always explore the negative. When you see things on social media, whether TikTok or Instagram or any myriad of other social media outlets, you always see Black women in a negative light. They're always chicken necking and have these attitude, and they're always dragging Black men down. And then on the flip side, you see Black men talking about they're not respected, and this what's wrong with sisters, and this is why I do that. But then when you look at the numbers, 86% of Black men are married to Black women. 86%, not 8 or 6, 86. So how are they working? Oh man, divorce is this and the Black crime rate. Why are we allowing other people to talk about who we are? I saw a video the other day where a white woman had the audacity to talk. She had this Black woman on there, and she was talking about, if you can't afford me, don't date me, and this, that, and the third. And she was like, well, maybe some of these women are not as independent as you think they are. And a lot of Black people were in the comments, yeah. And a lot of Black men, see, that's what I'm talking about. And if you're foolish enough to think that wasn't anything but a racist trope, you're outside your damn mind. You don't let anybody from outside our community police our community. You don't listen to the oppressor's point of view. Oh, well, see, she was making sense. You know what? Tell you what, if you sitting around me and I'm complaining about my sister or my brother or my cousin or my aunt or my child or my lady, and you go, yeah, she or he, they are stupid, I'm going to look at you like you've lost your darn mind, because I can say these things, but you can't. Just like any other community, the F word in the LGBTQ community, they can throw it around because that's their thing. If you throw that W word around the Italian community and so forth and so on, but you can't say it from the outside. And that's what people got to mixed up. If you can say the N word, why can't I? Because it ain't your place to say it, period. If you sit around and we start lynching and killing and destroying and flooding towns in your community, and then we refuse to apologize, then we can start saying, you can start saying it. But up until and including that moment, hey, you can't. But what we have to do is create our own identity. You know, we've allowed people to label us since they got in on this continent and dragged some of us to this continent. We went from the N-word to Negro to colored to Black to African American, and now y'all foolish enough to embrace this word YN. What is the fascination with the word? Hey, guess what? Oh, HRap uses the word as well. I'm not going to pretend that I don't, but I'm slowly filtering it out of my vocabulary, because why in the entire hell are we embracing something that the last word some of our ancestors heard right before they were tarred and feathered, right before they were lynched, right before they were drugged to their death, right before they were hung, right before their demise was that word. They were being chased down hearing that word. The word was meant as a negative connotation, and we flipped it. Nah, because stupid MF could be used the same way. Are you gonna name call start? Hey, what's up, stupid MF? No, you're not gonna do that. So we're not gonna embrace that word either. So what I want you to do is this: let's work on identifying who we are. We are the architects of the universe. We are the agricultural genius. We are the scientists. We are the peacemakers. We are the innovators. So why don't we just start calling each other brother and sister? See, because it's a lot harder to shoot your brother if you identify somebody as, what's up, brother? It'll probably, I've never shot and killed anyone, but it's a little more difficult to shoot and kill someone. It's a little more difficult to rob someone you know. If you're in dire straits and your friend mother's walking down the street and you know she has money in her purse, it is a very good chance that you won't rob that person. 99 times out of 100, that person is safe. Now, again, it's always that 1% or that one chance, but more times than not, that person is safe because you know them, not because you're afraid, but it's just like, hey, that lady knows my mother and my mother knows, and so forth and so on. So why do we allow people to identify our character traits, our abilities, our sensibilities, and then we grab hold to everything that's negative and put it on the forefront? Are you telling me you've never ruined a relationship, him or her, them or they, or whatever your pronoun is? Have you never ruined it? So that means that person from the gender or the pronoun that you are opposed to, the counter pronoun, I should say, that don't make all of them bad. That don't make you all good. Have Black people ever identified themselves on their own on this continent? I don't think so. How can you go by how can you expect the best possible outcome using someone else's identity tool? Oh, well, because no, there is no reason. Because let's look at it like this. A lot of us that's watching this have children, have nieces and nephews. We definitely have nieces, nephews, cousins, friends, and neighbors. So when you introduce yourself, can you say, hey, my name is Brian? Can I say, okay, Bob? No, they can't. So why are we allowing people to put negative connotations on the behavior in our community, acting as if we have invented criminality, acting as if we've created drug addiction, acting as if we've created all kinds of shenanigans and negative connotations that have been placed on our community, and we run with it. And as soon as we see the inkling of that, they are automatically X'd out. We can no longer do that. If you really want freedom if you must start inside of your own house, and our house is our community. And if we can't clean our front porch, we can't ask anybody not to throw trash on our front porch. Because if you open your front door and throw some trash out on the front, well, what's to stop the person that's walking past? Just finish it, so throw it up there too. Then you'll get mad when they do. See, that's why we have to eradicate that word. Because I'm not saying that you should give somebody a pass, because I'm sorry, you say it around me, you're not part of my community, I got a problem with it. And I don't care who you grew up around. I don't care who you had children with. I don't care who you date. None of that. If your ancestors haven't suffered the exact same ill, not similar ill, not along the same lines, just like, none of that, you can't say that, period. But the identity that I'm talking about is the identity of your great-grandparents. A lot of us, okay, there's some people who were birthed into horrible situations. There's no way around it. There's no ifs, ands, buts, and maybes about it. But again, I'm talking about by and large, not individual instances. Because guess what? If we're going to pick out individual instances, let's just pick out Michelle and Barack Obama. They have 2 wonderful children, and that's all Black children. No, it's not. Oh, we're going to talk about Dr. King and Coretta Scott and their children, and that's how Black people are. But y'all don't do that. Why won't you do that? Because it's far more people that are like Barack, Coretta, Dr. King, and Michelle than like Manny Moore and Jack, who the bank robbers and thieves and killers and rapists and things of that nature. It's far more good people in our community than bad. But if you don't identify it yourself, then you'll suffer the consequences of someone else's opinion and someone else's point of view and someone else's theory of who and what you are. Isn't it amazing that most of the major inventions in the United States of America, some of them worldwide, have come right out of our community, but we're known for criminality, being lazy, being shiftless, arguing and crying and belly aching, but we're not known for the innovation. We're not known for the ability to survive in enslavement, survive the transatlantic slave trade, survive Jim Crow segregation, survive redlines, survive flooding of towns, survive the civil rights movement, survive crack and AIDS, survive heroin, survive all these things that have been thrown directly at our community. But what they do is they grab the very worst thing, put it in front of you, and you ignore all that greatness. Again, why aren't we all like Fred Hampton? Why are we not all like Huey P. Newton? Why are we not all like Assata Shakur? Why are we not all like Angela Davis? Why are we not all like Fannie Lou Hamer? Why are we not all like Sojourner Truth? Why aren't all, since you want to pick out one Black woman and attach it to all Black women, why ain't you attaching those Black women to all Black women? Those Black men to all Black men? But you would find Mr. Gangbanger, Mr. Drug Dealer, Mr. Frank Lucas, Mr. Tookie Williams, no disrespect, rest in peace to both. And that's who you hang us on. Oh, yeah, he's just like, no, we're not just like them. And guess what? It wouldn't even be a bad thing to be like some of those people who invested heavily in criminality. You know why? Because they were in survival mode. When you have the United States federal government on your back, on your heels, doing everything they can to destroy you. When you have the local police, the local government, the police force, and you have a reduction in means to succeed. Don't get mad at me when I choose criminality. Is it the best way to go? No. Is it the logical way to go? No. Is it the only way to go? No. But when you are trying to survive, you may be pushed into that and thinking that's the only way to go. And maybe that's why a lot of them, because even when you read the book Malcolm X, what put him in crime? The fact that they killed his father, bust him across the back of his head, and laid him on the train tracks. And then you separate, you put his mother in a mental institution, and you separate his brothers and sisters. Instead of finding their relatives, Malcolm X's father had 3 or 4 brothers that lived. He had elder siblings, and you see in the book Ella, why did they send more of his brothers and sisters to Ella's house and his other children? Because Malcolm X had older brothers and sisters that were not with his parents. So why did they try to find them? Because it was about the destruction of the Black family. So if you're going to destroy my family and put me in the worst possible situation, don't expect me to come out and be Malcolm X. I'm going to be Tookie Williams. I'm going to be and other nationally known gang members and gang affiliated people throughout the United States of America. That's what you're going to produce. And that was the purpose in producing that, because if you cut off the head, the snake would die. The head is the parents, the mother and the father. You get rid of the mother and the father, you kill the father, you incarcerate the mother or put the mother in the mental institute, and you put the children in disadvantaged situations that are not advantageous to mental health. And you get potentially a Malcolm X, or actually a Malcolm Little, that evolves into a Malcolm X. And those are the problems that we're faced. Some of his, and guess what? Most of his siblings did not turn to crime, but you're going to get that sometime. And guess what? Just like a lot of us, we grew up in situations and our parents had pristine conditions, and some of us turned to crime and then they turn their lives around. So why don't we refer to ourselves as human beings? Why don't we start using terms like brother, sister, friend, homie, homeboy, homegirl, things of that nature? Not B, not N, not YN. You know, let's get back. Let's start popularizing big bro, OG, and let's actually be unks. Let's be big brothers. Let's be OGs. Let's start being that instead of just saying those things. What up, But offer him and everybody around him the respect. Hey, start talking to, not at and about these young men. And Auntie, do the same thing. Start speaking to and not at these young ladies. Because you know one thing I remember, I used to hate when my mother yelled at me, even though it was my fault. 90, I'll never remember a time my mother yelled at me and it wasn't my fault. Yes, we should be our brothers and sisters keepers. Exactly. Thank you. And that's what I'm saying, people. Identify ourselves. Don't allow somebody to identify us, because when they identify us, they show the worst of us. They show the worst of us. Yeah, you know, you highlight Michael Jordan, but then you want to, like, I just heard Gilbert Arenas' show, and they would talk about all the brothers that went to jail. But you know what? Y'all, entertainment, it's y'all. They right. We do commit all the crimes. Or maybe we're the ones over-policed. Maybe we're the ones. And then you go on and start mentioning marijuana possession. You didn't say violent crime. And then he mentioned Birdman. And he mentioned this guy was arrested for marijuana possession or a fight at a bar. He said, y'all know what Birdman got arrested for. You ain't mentioned the fact that Birdman, a white man, was arrested for suspected child molestation and potentially watching child porn. You didn't mention that. But he covered it up for them, but he put it on blast that all these young black men got arrested for marijuana. That's what I'm talking about. See, identifying yourself, because see, you thought you held him up here and kept his privacy. And all the brothers that you were laughing at, it was purely entertainment. All these brothers, y'all stupid for marijuana. But you smoke marijuana, so you were really just lucky that you didn't get incarcerated as well, but you didn't bring that up. You're not going to talk about you. In that segment, you didn't mention that, hell, that could have been me. Or why are we arresting people for marijuana as people walking around with firearms, as people walking around killing, stealing, raping, and molesting people? But you are laughing about marijuana arrests because you devalue us and you put other people on a higher pedestal. Because you know what? I would rather go to jail for a decade for marijuana than to even be suspected for child molestation or pornography. That's what time it is with me. But hey, maybe I'm just crazy. But I definitely don't want anybody assuming that I've done anything inappropriate with a child or a woman, for that matter, or a boy or a man either. But molestation versus marijuana possession, you can charge me with a felony marijuana possession versus a suspected child molestation, a suspected child pornography. Because you know what? When I go to a place of employment, hey, you have been arrested. Yeah, I got high. Had some marijuana when I was younger. Yeah, I've been arrested. They thought I was watching child porn. Which one sounds worse? But we will highlight the hell out of every one of our flaws. See, look at him, boss. Look at him, boss. And with us, with somebody else, it's, hey, man, see, I don't even want to get into that. No, get into it. But you've been trained to say, the lighter this is, the better it is. No matter, I don't give a damn how enlightened you are. That's why at one point in this country, in our community, lighter women were supposed to be the better women. I mean, you know, I have literally heard friends of mine say, she is cute for a dark-skinned girl. How you outside your damn mind? Listen to that, man. How asinine is that? But that's what we do. That's what we do, man, because we've been trained to hate this skin. Our skin is our sin. And when you're looking at these situations, you have to pay attention to the rules and the guidelines. You have to. What are the rules of this situation? You know, where did this lack of trust come from? Where's this intimidation of other cultures? Where did that come from? Where in the hell did people get this mentality? She's cute, period. Exactly. Complexion shouldn't matter. That's exactly what we should be thinking. What do you mean she's cute to be ... That's the downfall. But see, we can always say, hey, man, we can put limitations on our ability. See, well, brothers don't know how to do this, but brothers know how to, you know, comedians, some of the most intelligent, historically, some of the most intelligent people in the United States of America have been comedians. And that's why people like George Carlin, that's why people like Sam Kinison, the great Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy, Dave Chappelle, Dion Cole. That's why they thrive, because their intellect is superior to most. So why is it that we never offer a solution? We offer the downfall and the problem. See, we never talk about what we need to do. This is what, okay, this is the problem, and here are the rules and guidelines of the community. For example, what we're going to do is lay out some just simple rules for our community, y'all. Let's do it right here on End of the Bench Media, a few minutes with HRap. How about this? Let's stop saying bitches. When you talking about black women, how about we never say bitches, man, these bitches, these hoes. Who will respect that? Who will respect that? Would you respect somebody? Hey, bitches, man. No. Because if that was your mama, is your mama one of the bitches? Is your sister one of the bitches? Is your daughter one of the bitches? Your aunts one? No, they're not. Those are your aunts. That's your daughter. That's your mother. Those are the people that you love and care about, and you wouldn't accept it. So how about this again? If that is your soul sister, if that is a sister, and man, these ladies, these chicks, and chicks ain't all that great either, but it's better than the B word and the H word. And let's stop calling each other ends. These ends, these ends, these ends. That's one of the rules. And how about this? We're going to start speaking to each other again. Let's start speaking. See, people don't understand how powerful hello is. How powerful just the simple, hey, how you doing? Hey, not hey, baby. Ooh, you look good. None of that. Hey, how you doing, sister? Keep walking. You don't even got to establish eye contact. Good morning. Good afternoon. Good night. How about that? Let's start that. See, because then you got people relaxing in your community. You're building a community, not just a group of people that live near each other. See, we've been living near each other. I've heard relatives. I've heard friends. Man, I've been living here 5 years. I don't know nobody. And bragged about it. You don't know anyone. So if somebody broke in your house and they say, I don't know, you be mad. Somebody saw something. They always out here. Exactly. So why don't you know Miss Jackson, Miss Washington, Miss Smith, Miss Jones, Mr. in the same names, Mr. Williams? Why don't you just get to know, hey, my name is, hey, man, I live across the street from me. Keep an eye on your children. You keep an eye on mine. I keep an eye on your place. You keep an eye on mine. Something good, bad, or different happen. We exchange information. Your Ring doorbell is on, mine is on. We're going to protect each other. You ain't have to, hey, man, why don't you come over and have a drink with me and eat some food with me? And no, you don't have to do that. Just introduce yourself. That's called creating a culture and community, rules and guidelines. So that's what else comes with that. Ain't no standing around doing nothing, because we have a park down the street for the children with jungle gyms and basketball and baseball and whatever activities these young people want. And guess what? We'll even get some benches out there for the kids that just want to stand around and do nothing. But you're not going to stand around and ain't for any debauchery and tomfoolery. So you reestablish that. You reestablish those things. And when you reestablish those things, you create a community. And we start snitching. Because you know what? One thing about the open drug trade, it brings about violence. It brings about mayhem and chaos. And I'm a man Wilkes, the true mayhem. That's what it brings about. So if you're allowing people to stand around in the midst of debauchery and tomfoolery, what in the heck are you surprised for when you say, hey, man, and then what we're going to do is start talking about things. You know, everybody, I don't know many people that don't have some affiliation with a church. So why don't we start going to these churches and say, hey, y'all need to start teaching these kids something, and not just the word of God. That's important. But you know what? When you show children that you care, they'll be more compelled to receive the information that you want to give them. So give them something that they think they need, and then you can give them what you believe they need or your belief is. See, you just can't force things down people's mouths. And guess what? The easiest way to get somebody to listen to you is to feed them. And then we start donating money to the church. So the church, like right now, it's the midst of summer, and they want to cut programs. And all these churches here in Chicago and Atlanta and Detroit and Milwaukee and all these places where Black folks are. If we start giving money to the church start feeding the children. The church is giving the children history lessons and throw a little spirituality in there. And then bam. And then I already know it. Guess what? I hear it. I hear it to people way in the back. And what if they touch our kids? That's why your Black ass need to be there too. And you can learn something. And then you and your children can learn something. Then you can call your grandmother and have your grandmother tell some stories. And then we can continue to build this community one brick at a time, because information is golden. Guess what? When your grandmother passes and my grandfather passed and my great aunt passed, there are experiences that are going to pass along with them that you will never be able to hear ever again, because they're trapped in their head. How many times have you sat down with an elder and just let them run their mouths about back in the day? You don't have to ask many questions. The easiest thing in the world to get somebody to talk about is themselves. You ain't have to ask about, well, what about, was you fast, Grandma? No, you just, hey, Grandma, what was going on in this time? Granddad, why do they call you Butch? How did you get that? That was my granddaddy's nickname. Why they call you Butch? See, start talking about them and let them tell them stories. No slow, dragging out stories when you can listen to those old men and they just said the same. Boy, I saw Sassy Frasy down the street, and boy, that one was fine. Did I tell you that girl was fine? It's a rhythm to them stories, and everybody's laughing. Oh boy, you ain't seen that girl wasn't fine. Boy, she was this fine and that. And that's the art of storytelling from our community. And you have all these hands touching, and you have all those old men. If you don't believe me, watch the beginning of Malcolm X. You had a barbershop full of old men. They watching my man get a perm. They know he don't need to be getting that perm. Hey, boy, this is what happened to my perm. And they put that conch in my head. He showed his head and it was bald. That's how we used to get down. But we don't do that anymore. You got, instead of sitting on the porch and watching the little girl with the little shorts walk the shorts these days, and Daisy Duke shorts and the tight shorts and the bodysuits. Look at her. She is not. Why don't you start talking to a young lady? Come talk to me and tell them how you got your husband of 50 years. How yeah, they be wondering, but hey, if you do this and you and enhance their lives instead of judging them. Because you know what? I ain't met somebody yet that want to be judged. I have met them. I've yet to meet one person that said, you know what, HRap, I'm going to sit here, right? And I want you to look at me and tell me what's wrong with me. Or Hey, man, come on over here, man. You know, I got a big ass head and little ears. Tell me about that. I ain't doing that. And I do have a big ass head and little ears, but I don't want to hear about it. But these are the things that we got away from. I spent a lot of time in my grandfather's barber shop, and on both my great grandfather Theodore, granddaddy Butch, and my grandfather on my dad's side, just sitting around those old cats. You can't talk, man. You ain't ask no question. You can't talk, and you gotta act like you ain't really listening. You gotta play like you're playing, but you're getting some knowledge, and they know you listening. But if you can shut your mouth long enough, they'll let you hear. And I'm quite sure sisters out here, y'all have some older ladies shoot the game at y'all. And why don't y'all see? A lot of people sit around and say, it ain't like it used to be. Question: if you're older than 50, tell you what, if you were born before 1985, it is a very good chance you have a grandchild, or you are grandma age. So, are you acting like your grandmother used to act? Or are you still trying to turn up? Hey, are you still doing that? Did your grandmother ever do that? And you know, my grandmother party, I know. Because our sisters used to come over, play cards, cuss, holler, scream, and act a fool. And I used to sit in the kitchen with my grandfather. And he used to fake give me a drink out the grape juice. And me and him would sit there and watch the ball game. And they be in there cutting up. And my aunt Sarah would come in and crack on her Butch, and they have a good old time. And I'm just sitting there. Thought I was grown, drinking grape juice. He was drinking whatever he was drinking. And he was, hey, yeah, don't drink it too fast, Brian. Don't drink it too fast. We got to get back to that. These are the rules and guidelines of the community. And then guess what else? He taught me how to change oil. He taught me how to change brakes. He taught me how to put a demo on the wall. These are because I'm standing there learning. I didn't know I was learning. I was just helping my grandfather. So these are the things that we need to pass down. And it's a specific way your grandfather act. When he went a specific place, he dressed a specific way, and so forth and so on. But if we don't set up these guidelines, we don't set up these rules, we don't set up these things, we continue to fall into the trap of the system. And guess what? At that point, you find out that your grandfather was a straight A student and your grandmother was a straight A student. And these things help them be the best people that they can be. And now you don't know anything but work hard, whether it be academically. Oh, I ain't good at math. I'm good at whatever I put my mind to. I ain't good at spelling. I'm good at whatever I put. You can do anything that you put your mind to. But if you just willing to give up and you trying to assimilate instead of assemble a community, if this is assimilate, this is assemble. I would rather assemble a community than to assimilate into another one, because you're still walking on their land. This is my land. These are my people. These are our cultural norms. These are our rituals. These are our ways of knowing who we are. And if you don't do that, you will suffer the consequences. See, I'm going to show you what you're up against every day on this clip. And again, if you're watching this live, thank you. Hit that like, hit that share, tell a friend and tap in. And if you're not, I want you to go to www.theendofthebitch.com, www.theendofthebitch.com. And this video that I'm about to show you, this portion of this video that I'm about to show you, will be shown in its entirety, and you can see it, or you can go to YouTube and see my main man, Country Boy. Check this out, and I'll be back shortly.
They face a severe labor shortage. After establishing the struggling outpost in Jamestown, planters relied heavily on indentured servitude. These men and women endured harsh conditions to repay their debt for their passage to the New World, often for 4 to 7 years. However, the steady influx of laborers from England had begun to decline, prompting colonial leaders to seek alternative means to maintain their stranglehold on the working class and secure a reliable labor force. Their solution was to stratify the society in racial categories, culminating in permanent African slavery. A pivotal legal moment of this is in 1662 with Virginia and their hereditary slave law. This law decreed that the children born to enslaved women would inherit their mother's bonded status. This not only condemned the children to a life of slavery, but also established the foundation of child slavery and ingrained this anti-Black sentiment into American society. As laws tightened around African and African descended people, condemning them to a life of perpetual servitude, concurrently, European settlers began to identify as white, and that status conferred privilege such as land and resources and only deepened the societal divisions. By the 18th century, influential philosophers like Voltaire and Thomas Jefferson published assertions of the Africans inherently inferior. These views, often based on subjective impressions and secondhand reports, mirror the prevailing attitudes and economic interests tied to the lucrative slave trade. Scholars began to promote the view that Black people, then referred to as Negroes, were inherently inferior.
As you see, as I stated, this is a trope that was created by someone else to justify their ill-gotten gains and that ill treatment of our ancestors. All right, in good faith, if I believe in God, I can't be mistreating a human, but I can mistreat something subhuman. These are the same people that almost brought the bald eagle to extinction, that has almost done away with the condor, that has almost done away with the buffalo, that done away with several animals just to say they killed them, not for food, not for commerce, not for clothing, but I'm gonna kill all these buffaloes and stuff them and get a dude called a taxidermist to put them in my house just so I could show you that I'm superior to what is an essence of, or what is labeled a beast. But who's really the beast? The person killing for nothing or the animal killing to survive? Just something to think about. What I want you to understand is this. This is why I want us to get out of this N-word thing. Embrace, man, that's my end. No, I'm not your end. If you call me that again, I'm going to be your adversary. You know what I'm saying? The easiest way to understand that is this: powerless enemies and solutions. Our enemies are powerless. See, yesterday I mentioned that the American dream is not to get a job, work hard, work the live long day, and retire. That is not the American dream. The American dream is to be, as y'all call it, a boss. A boss. That's what the American dream is, to be a boss. And why is it to be a boss? Because nobody really want to work. Hey, tell you what, I'm going to offer you this. I give you $10 million a day, and that's your money, and you can't earn, and you can't go to work ever again. Or I give you $100,000 every 2 years, and you go to work every day. Ain't nobody picking option B, because look, unless you're doing something like this, and you got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and tens of thousands of people listening to each and every episode and each and every clip, and you making a whole lot of money doing something that you're passionate about, you don't want to get them to go to work tomorrow. If you have a place of employment, you want to get them to go to work tomorrow. If you have a career or in meaning something in arts, something in science, something in law, something in technology that you truly and dearly and truly enjoy to do, you ain't trying to get up and go to work tomorrow. And guess what? Let's look at the ultimate goal. It's to be at the top of the food chain. Who's at the top of the food chain? The boss. What does the boss really do? He tells other people to do things, and he gets more money because they do things well. Let's just be honest. The chief of police, he ain't out here catching no damn criminals. The mayor ain't doing nothing. He talking. The president don't do nothing but stand in front of the TV and lie all the time. This one and all the other 40 plus before him. Ain't none of they politicians. So the slave master, it's the American dream. So I don't have a job. I make a lot of money, and I tell people what to do. Whether you, oh no, I'm humbled and I believe in my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, and you want people to do what you say to. Because guess what? Even you complain about your hard-headed kids because I told those kids to get this house clean and they didn't do it. I ain't make this house where it is. Exactly. I'm not saying anybody is thank you, Alpha. I'm not saying people don't want to work. I'm just saying the dream is to make a whole lot of money, live a great life, and keep living a great life. Go to Disneyland and go to Kings Island and go to Disney World and go to the Bahamas and go to Africa and go to South America and go to Canada and France and all those. You want to do that versus getting up. Tell you what, again, I give you $10 million. You can go where you want to go on a regular basis, or you can get up and go to work for that little money that you make. Exactly. That's the American dream, to be at the top of the food chain. And if you're not at the top of the food chain, you're at the bottom of the food chain. Like Ricky Bobby, if either you win or you lose, the second place is the first to lose. That's all it is. And I'm not saying that your life is not great. I'm just saying that's nobody wants to get up and go do a job unless they pick that and they're good at that and that's what they really want to do. But I guarantee you, if you offer them a pile of money, it ain't going to work tomorrow. And that's just honest God truth. So why are we letting these systems dictate who we are? Our enemies are powerless because guess what? Let's look at some of the people. Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates. Who else? Let's just say Mark Cuban. If the dudes stop playing basketball or whatever else Mark Cuban has done, if we stop using the technology that he invested in, if we stop using Windows and things of that nature, Bill Gates is done. If we stop buying them Teslas, done. If was it Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, if we leave Amazon alone, they popped. So if you want to create discriminatory practices that will hurt me, I just keep my money in my pocket. Again, I'll just keep my money in my pocket. And that's the power. The solution is solidarity. That's why I said, why don't you explore unity? Because unity puts you in an advantageous situation. As I mentioned last night, a hog is about 6 feet long. A hog, not a pig. A pig is a little bitty animal. A hog is a big old animal. Costs you about a half a hog costs you about $450. Depends on where you are. Some farms will just walk you to the hog. I want that one. And they'll take them to slaughter, cut that meat up, and ship it to you. Same things with cows. Cut it up. I want steaks. I want roast. I want ribs, and now you got enough meat to ship to you and your siblings, and y'all get one of those big freezers and you purchase it. Now, again, these are things that I said last night. These are the solutions. And now you are spending less money because I don't know. I don't think you can eat $600 worth of meat in 30 days. You're not, because you get sick of steak and you get sick of roast and you get sick of brisket and all these things that you can have. And you do the same thing with a pig, and then you same thing with the hog, and you do the same, and then you get some chickens, and then you're done. You and your family members might spend $1,500, and y'all will get $1,500 worth of meat and be able to eat off of it for a year and a half. If it's a few of y'all, like maybe 2 families, you can eat off of about 18 months. $1,500, and then you complain about $300 a month at the grocery store, and you buy meat and chicken and pork at the same time. Then you start shopping with each other. And then you start over-indexing on television shows. And then you get a show like this. And I'm not doing self-promotion. I'm just saying. You start supporting HRap. And you say HRap. You reach out to me. I'm selling these T-shirts, man. I see you got 15,000, 21,000, 200,000 viewers. Can I come on and promote my T-shirt? You sure can. And then you sell those 25,000 T-shirts at $30 a pop. And then you put somebody on, and then they put somebody on, and then they put somebody on. That's what I'm trying to get you to understand. That's what I'm trying to get you to understand. Do you understand that if you had a T-shirt line and sold 25,000 of them at 30 a piece, 25 times 30, 75, 750. And if you sold 25,000 of those, that's 750,000. See how easy it is to work? See, and then guess what? You go to Mansa, M-A-N-S-A. That's a black version of Tubi with a higher quality movie. And you start and promoting it. I personally know a person who has his full-length feature film on Tubi. So what if we start going over there and indexing on our Tubi? Because Tubi is owned by Fox, and Fox is one of the major contributors to the destruction of our community. So they promote lies, they promote mayhem, they promote chaos, And then we just stop indexing into that. And then guess what? You making a little money, and now you're in different circles. And then look, we know all these basketball coaches, we know all these players, and you get those players that kind of say, hey, why don't you open up a grocery store? And then we start shopping at our own grocery stores nationwide. So now we're watching it, we're being entertained by us. We're buying our groceries from us. We're getting deeds done by us. And then we're in social instances like church and social centers and after school centers and things of that nature by us. And then at that point, we're eating healthier, we're living healthier, our spirit is healthier, so our being will be healthier. And when that happens, it don't make a difference what Donald Trump, J.A. Vance, or any other clown in a tuxedo does. Now we're guiding our children towards poli-science degrees, political science degrees. That way we are putting our family in position to be political scientists, and that we're not coming off well, that's what they say. No, this is what I read, this is what I researched, and this is what we need. See, because up until we work together in a group, any solution I come up with or you come up with is not going to work. We need to be guiding our children to technology. We need to guide our children to medicine. We need to guide our children to agriculture. We need to guide our children to agriculture. We need to guide our children to the arts. We'll be entertained. We'll be healthy. We'll be educated. We'll have entrepreneurship, and we'll be a self-contained unit. And the harsh truth is, and this time we go for self-defense as well. We don't need to reduce guns. We need to show guns like our grandparents did. Our grandparents and our parents grew up at homes with firearms. They're not a tool of destruction. They're a tool for hunting, and they're a tool for protection. If you grow up in your life every day and got a gun isn't something that you run to get. If you also are in gyms and in activities, and boxing is your thing, and kung fu and jiu-jitsu, things that teach you discipline. The late great Muhammad Ali only became a boxer because someone stole his bike, and he wanted to learn how to fight to get his bike back. And look what happened. It teaches you discipline. It teaches you working hard. It teaches you stick-to-itiveness, and it potentially puts you in an advantageous position for career advancement. Not just as a boxer, you can be a fight promoter, you can be a trainer, and it is a lifelong lifestyle and commitment. See, we're not using everything that we have like we once did. Our enemies are powerless. We work together. The solution is working together. So that's why this segment was called Powerless Enemies and Solutions. Because how can you control me if I'm in government and I'm making sure that the levees don't break because they're being serviced every day? And guess what? We have engineers in our community to service those levees and those dams and things of that nature, so we'll be safe. And then we'll clean the water filter so we can get the people in Flint good water, and people in Jackson good water, people in New Jersey good water. And then we can stop doing things. Then we can have windmills that can create energy. And guess what? The windmills create energy, and servicing the windmills will create jobs. See, you see how it works? We're entertaining each other. We're keeping each other safe. We're powering each other. We're empowering each other. We're educating each other. And whatever somebody on the outside thinks, that's what they think. Because guess what? If my lady isn't the most attractive lady in the world, but I love her, who cares? If I'm not the most attractive man in the world, but I'm being loved, who cares? We have each other back. And if you are not good at something, who cares? But he's good at this. Rap got my back. Mo got my back. Poe got my back. Illinois got my back. So forth and so on. It becomes something that is like a vortex of success. And what happens with a vortex? It expands, and it expands throughout the country. And guess what? The biggest solution in the world is to see past the Atlantic Ocean, to see past the Gulf of Mexico, to see past the Pacific Ocean. Because guess what? When you go past the Pacific Ocean, you see Hawaii and those islands. And those people have African blood in them. And then you go to the Atlantic Ocean and you see our brothers and sisters on the great continent, and we make relations with them. And then you go through the Gulf of Mexico and you see our brothers and sisters in South America, like Guyana. Those people look just like us. Brazilian people look just like us. And guess what? It's only a matter of communicating. And you go to Haiti, and you go to Jamaica, and you go to Bohemian people in the Bahamas. And next thing you know, you realize, oh, you don't want me here in America? 2 fingers, 1 word. I'm out. But see, they don't want you out. They want to control you. So, you can continue to be controlled, or you can step up and do what you have to do to make sure you're surviving in this world. I don't want no more control. I just want peace. And if you you have to work towards peace. So we have powerless enemies and all the solutions. Our ancestors and elders had to hold the solutions. The solutions are in books. That's why, and you can do AI to make your own website. No, I need to make my own website. Why, man? It's easier, AI. Yeah, easy is traditionally a synonym for dumbing you down, which means you're stupid. And if you're stupid, you can be controlled. And I'm using the word stupid purposely. You don't want to ever be stupid. Ignorant is one thing. Stupid is knowing knowledge is there and refusing to use it. Ignorant is not knowing anything about the knowledge or the opportunities. I'd rather be ignorant than stupid. Because, yeah, it's easier to get this. HRap, and all you have to do is it's going to be easy. Look at what easy got us. It's been easy since 1968. April 4th, 1968, they started making it easy. How's that working out for us? It's not. With that being said, I'll see y'all tomorrow. Because it ain't easy. It's going to be difficult. And I want us to work through it. With that being said, I want to thank you guys for tapping in as usual. Y'all always do a great bang up job. Have a nice evening. And if you are not busy, go to www.theendofthebench.com. Have a nice evening. 2 fingers, 1 word. I am HRap B.
And it is necessary for those people who rule over us and who rule over African people the world over, if those people are to stay in power, they must destroy our ability to love each other in a healthy sort of way. This is why